purpose is. And looking back on that, that was a huge piece in my development of really understanding that, hey, you know what, I wasn't ready. And if I had gone under that role, I would have failed miserably at the time because I really didn't understand what it looked like. I just felt like it was the next step I needed to make. And everybody said, oh, you'd be great for this and everything else. But I wasn't ready. Being ready for those steps was very important. I see career enhancement as being enriched and being stimulated and being fulfilled in what you do. When you're enriched, you have a better feeling about yourself. And I'm going to talk about, we're really talking about the inner feelings of the individual in this room. And so when you're enriched in your job, it's okay. If you look at your career, it's either who you are or what you do. And I struggled with that a lot in over the years. If you put your career as who you are in front of what you do, you now start sacrificing things. If you look at these balls that you're juggling in life, you're juggling family, you're juggling friends, you're juggling religion, you're juggling health, and you're juggling your job, and you're juggling all these balls. All of these balls are glass except for the work job. The work ball is rubber and it'll bounce from time to time. It's okay to drop the ball at work from time to time as long as you're still committed. But if you're spending all your time working and you're not giving back to your family, not giving back to your community, not being the true spiritual person that you need to become, a job can go away and then you'll have nothing. So I'm going to talk about career enhancement when it comes to self-esteem. Again, I'm going to talk about vulnerable things inside. Self-esteem is very important because self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. You look at this picture here and you see a kitten looking in the mirror and they see themselves as a lion. When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you like the person that you see? Are you confident in that person? Self-esteem is a very important part of where you're going in life. It's how you project and portray yourself. At the end of the day, you've got to love the person that you are. Then the next part of career enhancement is really the self-worth. What is your self-worth? And the self-worth comes down to the contributions that you make. Are you fulfilled because of the contributions that you make to the organization? Are you fulfilled because you're helping those around you and that grows your self-worth? When it comes down to career enhancement, it's not always about climbing a ladder. It's being the best person that you are in the spot that you're in. I was talking to one of the salespeople on my team the other day. And they're at a spot in their career, and this was a great quote that she gave me. She said, in my career, it was learn, earn, and now she's in the return phase. Learn, earn, and return. Well, she's more than receive the right to climb those stairs or the ladder, but that's not what she wants. She wants to give back. She doesn't want to be put into a position where the demands on her are much higher. She's mastered her job. She feels good about what she does. She takes good care of her customers. She's happy doing what she does in life. And the thing that keeps her motivated is returning and giving back and investing in others. She's a mentor for many salespeople across our organization all over the country. And that's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to be a sales leader. She wants to be a sales mentor, and that's okay. So for her, this is her greatest reason for doing what she does, is because her contributions drive her self-worth and give her the balance that she needs in her life. So let's talk about daily wins. Every day, the small things that happen can take away the way that we feel about how we're contributing and what our productivity looks like. Who's our biggest critic in life? Think about it. We all have critics, right? Exactly. It's the voice in your head. It's the person telling you, oh yeah, don't do that. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. Oh yeah, my mom always said that I wasn't meant to do this, right? That's the critic that we got to silence. How do we build our self-esteem and silence the critic? That's tough. Because no matter what we do, the voice in our head that we hear is the one that we believe. No matter how many times somebody tells you, good job, or boy, you really did. Oh, no, I did. Oh, no, it was nothing, everything else. Take that compliment. Thank you. You've got to receive that because the person giving it you need to show them the respect that you receive their compliment, But more importantly, you need to listen to it and receive it, because you need to believe that, hey, I am worthy. I am better. I am what I strive to be. It's very important to silence the critic. Think about it. If you're going to go into a battle every day with your own critic, you're going to go into a jousting match, you're going right at your critic. You want to go to against your critic with no armor? Right? You're going to take that without armor? You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. How do you fight the person that you can never get away from? It's kind of tough. And if you're a sales leader, remember that this is what your people, no matter what you tell them, they're going to tell themselves that they're not good enough. They're comparing themselves to other people. So you got to build your armor. These are simple things. So the challenge is, I like to use a dry erase marker on the mirror in the bathroom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And have your opening activities, the things that you do every day. Because you need a win before you even walk out in the door in the day. So you put the 5 things that you want to accomplish in the morning. And you put them on there. And when and as you do them, or before you finish, you get to check them off. Yes, done, You might even flip your leg up. Yeah, all right, I got that done. But you want to start the day with some momentum. So start your day with opening activities. Maybe it's that you don't snooze the alarm. Right? Maybe it's that you take a few minutes and you read a book for 30 minutes. But what are the things that you want to do to say, what, I can start my day well if I do these things. Maybe you need baby steps and you're like, okay, well, I got to get up and I got to take a shower, I got to shave, I got to brush my teeth, I got to get dressed. Maybe initially those are your first 5. They don't have to be huge tasks, just the little things, so that you're walking away from your morning, you're like, hey, I got my stuff done today, right? Anybody ever had a chaotic morning and you leave the house and you forget to brush your teeth or put your gel in your hair or something and you're off for the rest of the day and you're missing? It's like that weird little thing that's off. I heard somebody yesterday tell me that they shaved their sideburns crooked and it threw off their whole morning. Think about that. The little tiny things, they get in here and they get to us. So having opening activities are really important to just your confidence in starting your morning. Maybe it's the things that you need to remind yourself, but they're commitments that you make. And they can be the same thing every morning or the things that you set the night before that you want to make sure that you accomplish. Then at the end of your day, have closing activities. Have 5 things that you want to close. Maybe your 5th activity on your closing is setting your opening activities for the next morning. Did you tuck in your children? Did you tell your spouse that you loved them twice today? Did you send your mom a text message? What are the things that you can just say, hey, I got through the day and I did these things and I feel accomplished. No matter how bad the day is, and if you're an operations person or a service manager, you come in and you got this pile on your desk you got to deal with today. And you walk in the door and everything goes out the window. And at the end of the day, this pile is now this pile and you got to nothing. You're going to go home defeated. You're not going to walk in the door and have confidence when you see your family. And you're just going to be off. But at least if you have the ability to handle your business and your personal life and open and close each day, and these 5 little simple things, you can at least feel like you have some accomplishment. Because when you lose a sense of accomplishment, it will tear you down and make you feel like that you don't have control over your life. So I'm going to show you how you can enhance yourself and your career for $1. Is that an investment that people are willing to make? $1? It's too much, right? Pretty simple, right? $1, that's nothing, right? Well, I'm going to talk about a couple things. This is a game, rock, paper, scissors. What beats a rock? Paper, right? What's mightier than the sword? The pen. For $1, you can get a journal. Just get yourself a personal journal. It's $1. But this is going to be what builds your armor. Oh, geez, John's going to make me journal and do all this stuff. Take what I'm talking about and do what you do for you, because you got to have your oxygen mask on to give to others. In this journal I'm going to talk about for the rest of the time, you'll probably fill up, but this first one that you fill up It's going to be very important, and I want you to keep it near you, and I want you to reference to it, because we're going to put some very powerful things in here that, man, you almost want to put a lock on it, because this is going to be your heart and your soul. Is that okay? So with this, we need to understand your strengths. What am I strong at? What am I good at? What do I like to do? Those things are important. What's my prime time? What is the time of day when I'm the most alert, self-aware, and am able to handle the most complex situations? For me, it's morning. I find that I get some brilliance at the end of the day, and I try to do things at the end of the day, but if I send out anything I do at the end of the day, I look at it the next morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not see these typos, and what was I thinking, and everything else, but in the morning, I'm sharp. So for me, my prime time is early in the morning. So the first thing I want you to do is when you get your composition book is I want you to write down 100 things that you like to do. Why would I do that, John? I already know what I like to do. Well, write them down and find 100 things. 100 things is a lot. Man, 100 things to think about that I like, put them in there. Because I'll tell you, when people are in my office and their life is falling apart, and their job is out of their control, I can always almost guarantee that they're doing none of the things that they like to do that give them the peace and make them whole. Because, oh yeah, well, is there something you used to do that you're not doing anymore? Oh yeah, I used to go out and ride a bike all the time. I don't do that anymore. Hey, when did you stop doing that? About 6 months ago. So in the last 6 months, would you say that kind of hurt your routine? It kind of took away from the things that really kind of gave you peace, and you got out there to ride and think and everything else? Oh, wow. Man, I need to get out and start riding my bike again. So write down 100 things that you like to do. It's going to be a struggle. 100 things is a lot. Man, you start putting them down, and when you get done, look at them, star a couple of things. And maybe the things that you like to do are things that you want to try or that you haven't done. But it's okay, put them down and look at them, because you got to remind yourself of the things that you like to do, because life throws curveballs at you all the time. You could come out of this meeting and there could be something drastic happen to your family and everything goes out the window. How are you going to get yourself back on track? Well, you got to come back to the basics of who you are. So journal the 100 things that you like. And then the next one, this is where your self-worth is going to tear you down. I want you to write down 100 things that you're good at. Well, geez, I'm not very good at anything. Well, wait a minute. You got to be good at something, right? Maybe I'm good at math. Maybe I'm good at knowing brands of cars, or I know lots about cars and things like that, right? Maybe I'm great on the refrigeration cycle. Oh, but you're terrible on the heating side. Well, don't put that in there. But the things that you're good at, maybe you're good at washing dishes. Maybe you like to do it. Maybe you like to sweep. Maybe you like to do things. Maybe you're good at meeting new people. Maybe you're good at putting yourself out there. Maybe you're good at, fixing electronics. But write down, and this is going to be difficult to find 100 things that you're good at, because the voice is going to tell you that you're not good. So think about it. Now I see the things that I like to do and the things that I'm good at, that I feel that I'm good at. Wow, I'm having a bad day. You know what, I think I'm going to do this, and oh yeah, I did that well. Is that going to make you feel better about yourself? It's simple, right? So your prime time, you got to understand the time of day that works best for you. Some people are night owls and get inspiration. Some people are early, some people are midday. It just depends. Maybe your day is very chaotic in the morning and your me time is slightly after everybody goes to work or goes out in the field and those things. But you got to know when that prime time is, and you need to make that. And I want you to write down this. Put an N with a 2 up there like it's N squared, and make that non-negotiable time. That's your non-negotiable time. That is for you, and you don't let people bother you. If you're in the office, close your office door. If people knock on your door or open your door, you need an open door. You need an office door policy, which means if my door is open, come on in. If the door is slightly closed, it better be important, and I would rather you solve it yourself. But if the door is closed, the building had better be on fire, and you're here to evacuate me. Because when I have my door closed, it's when I am working on my most important activities, because that is your non-negotiable time for you. A lot of people don't have that. Oh, geez, my kids get up and run around and you know, I don't have any me time in the morning. Well, do you need to get up a half an hour earlier? Do you need to find a way that after you get them off to school that you've got that time there? If you don't take the time to put your oxygen mask on, you're not going to be able to be whole yourself. And in most cases, you're the one that your family counts on to provide for them. So the early bird gets the worm, right? Maybe it's waking up in a half hour earlier than normal. Well, maybe it just makes me more tired and I got to go to bed a little bit earlier. Well, are you going to be as productive in that last half hour of the day as you can be in that first half hour of the day? Is watching TV or something like that gonna make you productive, or is your focus in the morning gonna give you what you need to be strong for the next day? I heard this a couple of weeks ago, and it was a really powerful statement, and I've been saying it kind of as my mantra, but the earlier I get up, the better my day is. Well, if I hit the snooze button too many times and I get up, I'm behind, now I already feel like, oh, all my people are up. Man, they're working harder than me, I'm failing them, so now I'm starting to beat myself up, and the voices in my head, oh my goodness, I'm behind, everything else. I get to work and I got all this email and all these things I got to catch up on. But if I would have just started earlier, I could have had my me time and all of that time in the morning and got fulfilled. And then when the flood came in, I was there as it came in. I wasn't reacting to it afterwards. So what's your morning ritual? You know, is it a cup of coffee? Are you journaling? Are you reading? Are you writing? What are you doing? You know, don't have the news on. The news is just going to put a lot of negativity and energy into you. Find a way to get the information you need without hearing all the sensationalism and junk behind it. Because the way that you walk out the door in the morning, or the way that you start your day, is really going to dictate the decisions that you make, the things that you notice about people. Because if you're fulfilled and you're squared and you're grounded, and you walk in, you can now start seeing what's going on and not just reacting, oh, I'm behind and I got to jump in and I got to do this and that. That guy didn't shave. Oh my gosh, what's going on? He looks down today. There's something going on in his life. You know what? I need to be there for him because I need to make sure that he's all right, because he's a contributing member of the team. But I'm not going to see that if I'm behind and I'm running in. So this one's very difficult. This is about humbling yourself, and it's called the 10 by 10. And a friend of mine used to be a trainer for Tony Robbins and really taught me a lot of these elements. This is one of the hardest things I ever had to do, because I had to put myself out there, and it was vulnerable and it was scary. But it's called the 10 by 10. And I rounded another 10 onto the end because I think it's important. Somebody said one time that you need to humble yourself or you'll be humiliated. Think about that. If you're not a humble person and you're putting up a front, sometime, someday, it's going to come back at you and you're going to look like a fool. Don't be somebody that you're not. Be humble, be true, be genuine. So, here's what the 10 by 10 by 10 is. The first 10 are the 10 people in your life that you admire, respect the most. What is it about them that you respect the most? Maybe it's a grandfather. Maybe it's an uncle. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's your pastor at your church. Maybe it's somebody that you work with that you really admire and hold up, and you're like, wow, this person I want to model myself after. Pick 10 people in your life that make a difference to you. But you've got to respect them. And then the next 10 of the 10 by 10, I need you to take and write down 10 things about them. So in your journal on the first page, and I've got an illustration, you're going to write their name on the first page, and you're going to write 1 through 10 right here. And those 10 things, what I want you to do is I want you to think about why you respect them, why you value, and why you admire them. And I want you to write down 10 things about that individual that you respect and admire about them. Because you need to tell yourself why. And you need to see it and you need to think through it. And you're like, wow, that's an amazing person. I really could probably stand to learn a lot from them. And here's the scary part. You picked out 10 people. You put down the 10 things you admired about them. You wrote it down. But there's numbers on the rest of this column on the other side. This is the scary part. So you're going to sit down with them. Spend some time with them. It's tough. Initially, it's not tough, but then what you're going to do is just sit down and tell them, you know, I'm working on a path of personal development, and I really want to invest in myself, and I want to surround myself with people that I truly admire and respect. And, you know, I wrote down 10 things that I truly admire about you. And I want to tell you what those things are. It's kind of hard, right? That's not the hard part. When you get to the end, and you've told them, their heart's going to be warm. Wow, really? I didn't realize that I made that kind of an impact on you. Can you do me a favor? I really want to grow and develop myself. You know, we've known each other for however long. Would you mind telling me the things that you admire and respect about me? Oh man, that's hard. Ooh, I'm putting myself out there. And what if they don't say nothing? What if they don't know? What if they say something that I don't see as important? Ooh, that's tender. Well, it's going to come back to the other part. You're going to give respect and you're going to get respect. And you're going to get more respect than you ever realized. Because when you see the people that matter the most to you in your life and the way that they see you and they see you in a measure of respect as well, man, that's powerful. That is strong stuff. Well, when they're giving it back, you need to truly respect them by truly receiving it. Really? Thank you. Really? You think I'm good at that? Oh yeah, you're good at that because I've seen this and this. Oh wow. You don't realize that everybody's watching somebody. And think about the leaders and the people that we look up to. We watch them when no one else is watching them, and we're always seeing what's going on. Think about that. They see the same thing about us. So now you got this journal and you met with 10 people. Man, that was hard. It was hard to pick the 10 people. It was hard to write down the things that I admire. Actually, the easy part was probably writing down what you admired about them, but the hard part was them telling me what they admired about me. And you know what? This one gave me 3, this one gave me 5, this one gave me 7. But we had really good conversations, and wow, a person that I hold in very high regard holds me in very high regard. And you make some notes about it, but that's important, and you keep it in here. And you review it from time to time. So what if part of your 5 things in the morning is your morning ritual for just kind of looking back in your journal, remembering the things you like to do? You know what, I need to do that this weekend. I really need a break. I need to go out and I need to just go for a walk. All right? And I'm good at working on cars. Well, maybe I need to work on the car this weekend so I feel good and I have a sense of accomplishment so I can start my week next week. But then look at your 10 by 10 and go back through it and take yourself back to that point when you were sitting down with the people that you held in the highest regard and remind yourself why you respect them and look at the things that they respect you and live up to those things. Think about it. Today we talked about integrity, respect, and excellence on there. If you're held in this regard, are you going to make a foolish decision when the person that you humbled yourself to told you what you can be, who you are, and where you can go? Are you going to make a foolish decision now because you're keeping the things in front of you that are important? This little fuzzy book right here, this little dollar, wow, that's kind of powerful, right? So the kudos journal. This stuff happens every day and we don't even think about it. I had a new salesperson come on board with me and I said, some days this job is terrible. You're not going to like your job. It's going to be tough. You're going to doubt yourself and everything else. And I want you to make me one promise. And she said, what's that? And I said, that you'll make a kudos journal. And she said, what's a kudos journal? So, well, it was originally referred to me as a success journal. But anytime somebody gives you kudos, Hey, Mike, that was a great install. I really like the way that you put that in. You really took a lot of attention to detail, everything else. Somebody sends you an email, boy, I really want to thank you for the way that you took care of that situation. You were really great. Those are the kudos that are thrown at you. Jot them down in the journal. It might seem cheesy at the time. But what if you're having the worst day of your life? Things suck. The voice in your head is just screaming. You're behind on everything. You can't catch up, and you got to get back on track. Pull this out. Remind yourself of what you like to do, what you're good at, what your mentors told you that you're capable of, and why you respect them. And then look at the kudos. Wow, you really made a difference in my life. I save those things. I forward them off to my OneNote, and it all drops into one folder. So if I'm ever having a bad day, I can look back and see the things where, somebody says that, hey, you made a difference. When I was in when I was covering the Central Region, I worked with a lot of territory managers for Lennox, and some of the emails and the things that they'd send, hey, wow, you really made a difference for me, and wow, nobody's ever taken the time and spent that with me, goes right in there. Because if I'm having a bad day, I got to remind myself that, hey, I'm better than the way I'm feeling right now. Because that monster's relentless. So every time you get those, jot them down, write them down, throw them in there, add them. I like to keep everything electronic, so I don't do a lot of writing, but I keep all my stuff in a place where I can review it. Because the way that we feel about ourselves dictates the way that we go about our day. Spend your time in your book. Build it, grow it, keep it. So mentors, and I've got through this material pretty quick, so the nice thing is you're going to have a little bit more time, and if anybody wants to talk afterwards, by all means, but you got to find a mentor, and you got to stretch yourself. They say that if you want to be a millionaire, you need to hang out with millionaires. Well, if you're already a millionaire, you need to find a billionaire. You don't want to be the big fish in the small pond. Now, some people need it because they're shallow, and that's what gives them their belief in themselves, because they're the biggest and the best. But who's growing them? They're not growing. They're not challenging. You need to go out and jump into the big pond and be the small fish and learn and struggle and go through all of that so that you can truly relish in the accomplishments and grow and expand yourself. If you're an installer and you're the best installer out there, well, maybe you need to start hanging around with the service technicians, so now you can start learning some more complicated troubleshooting things so that you can be better at your job instead of just being the best installer, because you're not getting any better just being in that group. So finding a mentor is very important. Well, here's probably a pretty darn good place to start with finding your mentor. And then when you find a mentor, again, it's humbling. But that mentor is going to pour things into you. They're going to challenge you. But you need to be worthy of their time. If you're not worthy of your mentor's time, they're going to stop giving you the time. And if they're not challenging you enough, ask for a challenge. Hold yourself accountable. Because if you're not accountable, your mentor is going to lose interest. Yeah, they'll accept you because they're probably somebody that respects you for something else that you do, and they're going to love you in spite of it. But stretch yourself, grow yourself. Again, you don't have to go be the president of a company or an owner, but you can be the best contributor on the team and help grow and develop others around you and be fulfilled in what you do and be able to go home at the end of the day and not have all the stress of those other roles. A mentor of mine, Mel Kaufman, a saying he always used to use is, the open hand of giving is always full. Think about that. Regardless of how someone is going to reciprocate with you, you always give. You don't give with the expectation of receiving. And the people that bring back to you are the ones that are worthy and respectable and that cared about what you offered. And the ones that didn't, you were still the bigger person and offered and gave everyone the opportunity. That's why I do what I do. I'm about giving and giving back and growing and developing my people. And a lot of times when you see a speaker talk, they're going to talk about the what and the why, but they're not going to tell you the how. And usually the how is for sale in the back of the room. It's about giving. And if anybody wants to continue on this topic or hold yourself accountable, or, hey, you want to kind of go back over that again, or, I like the things you spoke about, stay in contact with me. I'm more than happy to kind of help you down that path. But this is important stuff for the fulfillment of your life, and the career is just part of it. So then you got to be, you're being mentored, everything else, you got to become that mentor so that you can backfill yourself in what you do so that somebody else you can develop so that they can do what you do. Because when you can develop somebody and they can become a mentor, that means that you made a difference in their life. And in most cases, when it comes to the job, you made your job a lot easier. And sometimes you are pushed up the advancement, but it's usually because you help somebody along the way. Because if you don't put somebody in good behind you and you got to manage that level, you're going to have to do that level and manage that level, and that's daunting. So looking back, we talked about enhancement. It's not always about advancement. It's about fulfilling yourself. Remember, you got to have good, strong self-esteem and understand your worth and your contributions to what you're bringing so that you can be a strong producer in life so that you can be fulfilled yourself. Get your daily wins. Take those small, simple task lists, your opening activities, your closing activities. Make them things that you can get your sense of accomplishment from. Know when your strengths are. Understanding the things that you like and you're good at. Know when your prime time is. I am best in the morning. But everyone around me is up in the morning too, so maybe I need to get up earlier. Maybe I need to go to Starbucks and spend some time in quiet time ritual to get away from it. I realized when I was working remotely a while back, I was working in California at a Starbucks, and I got so much more done because I was off-site. It was kind of cool. You're 10 by 10. Boy, that's vulnerable. You know what you might do? You might just put the 10 people in your book that you admire the most, and you might start jotting down the things that you respect about them. And you may never have the courage to have that sit-down meeting, but you at least remind yourself of what you respect about them, and it kind of builds the vision for your life and what you want to become and where you want to go. Your kudos journal, every time somebody gives you a compliment and it makes you feel good, receive it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I work really hard, and I really appreciate that you notice that. Oh, wow, I'm getting all vulnerable, right? Write it down to remind yourself. Because we need it. We need to be selfish in a way for ourselves, because if we're not fulfilled, we can't help others. And mentors, you got to be one. But hold yourself accountable, stretch yourselves, find one, but most importantly, be one. And help others become one. Use your journal. It's there, it's important. $1 can make a difference in your life, but you got to work. You got to do the work. Anybody wants to keep in touch with me? Here's my info. I'm here all day. Came up here from Charlotte because what Dave does and has done here, all great things start in Wisconsin. I want to come up here and be part of it so that we can scale this out and take it to Charlotte and make a difference and drive and build our industry and help people. But I just want to thank you all for coming in here today. I'm sure there's a lot of neat, fun, technical things out there, but this was about investing in yourself. Thank you.